Polityka is a center-left weekly news magazine in Poland, with a circulation of 200,050. It was the country's biggest-selling weekly, ahead of Newsweek's Polish edition, Newsweek Polska, and Wprost.Polityka has a slightly intellectual, socially liberal profile, setting it apart from the more conservative Wprost and the glossier approach of Newsweek Poland. Prominent editors and permanent contributors have included Adam Krzemiński, Janina Paradowska, Daniel Passent, Ludwik Stomma, Adam Szostkiewicz, Jacek Żakowski, Ryszard Kapuściński, Jerzy Urban, and Krzysztof Zanussi. History and profile. Established in 1957, after Stalinism had subsided in Poland, Polityka slowly developed a reputation for moderately critical journalism, promoting economical way of thinking, although always remaining within the communist-imposed boundaries that still constrained the press. Notably, Polityka was launched to replace the more radical Wprost. The first editor-in-chief of Polityka was Stefan Olkiewski, who served in the post from 1957 to 1958. Mieczysław Rakowski was a long-time editor of the publication, and he served in the post between 1958 and 1982. It was he who would become the final first secretary of the Polish Communist Party, the last communist prime minister of Poland, and who would eventually oversee the winding down of communist rule in Poland in 1989. Polityka supported the Round Table talks, which concluded with an agreement to hold the free elections that would result in a peaceful end to communist rule in Poland. The magazine achieved renown in 1961 when it printed 5 parts of Adolf Eichmann's memoirs that had been stolen and given to it by anti-Nazis. It earned the ire of the Soviet Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1983 after expressing a favorable view of political pluralism. Jan Bijak became editor-in-chief of the magazine in 1982 and served in the post until 1994. After the fall of communism in 1989, Polityka continued to play an influential role as part of Poland's newly free press. In 1990, the Polityka team left the state-owned publisher RSW Prasarka Związku with rights to the title, and established an independent cooperative called Polityka Spółdzielnia Prasy. Such a publishing cooperative is unique in the Polish press. Since 1994, the editor of Polityka has been Jerzy Urban. In 1995, the format was switched from a broadsheet to a standard color magazine, which has more than 100 pages per issue. Circulation. In 2001, Polityka had a circulation of 245,000 copies. The circulation of the magazine was 143,089 copies in 2010 and 133,324 copies in 2011. It was 124,761 copies in 2012. The print and e-edition circulation of the weekly was 127,732 in August 2014. Awards. Since 1959, Polityka has awarded its History Award, and, since 1993, an annual award for the arts, the Passport Polityka. Since the late 1990s, it has also funded scholarships for young scientists. Editorial stance. Polityka has sometimes been accused of showing a neo-communist bias in their articles, as many of the leading editors served the communist regime. These loyalties were claimed to persist after 1989. Janina Paradowska, for example, was accused of sitting on information it had received from Adam Krzemiński about corruption involving Lou Rewin, which eventually led to the so-called Rewin affair. Paradowska and the editorial team decided not to publicize the matter until Krzemiński himself had done so.